Hey there, and welcome to another segment here of Coffee Talk. Grab a cup of coffee because we have one of the leading technical consultant experts in the industry, the infamous Randy Johnston with K2 Enterprises. For those who don't know, Randy is a County Today's top 100 most influential people. He's a top 25 thought leader of the accounting industry, inducted into the CPA Practice Advisor Accounting Hall of Fame in 2011, and has over 40 years of management and technical consulting experience. Randy, welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Pleased to do so, Chris. It's such a pleasure to spend time with you and your listeners.
What topic is the top of the mind for CPA firms this year, Randy?
Well, Chris, I believe that portals and client experience, and it might be extending over into team member experiences now. The real issue has become throughout the pandemic and now post-pandemic that experience and efficiency and effectiveness all became real big words along the way. And if you've got a clumsy portal interaction, it's hard to work with clients remotely. And frankly, it's a time waster on lots of different aspects. So realistically, I can't think of a conversation I've had in the past 18 months that hasn't had portal as one of the topics that's come up along the way.
And if firms are concerned about experience, what is the best approach you have found?
Well, to that point, experience is kind of a funny thing. Think about ease of use. And both of us have been around long enough, Chris. I don't like words like ease of use because how do you define that stuff? But bottom line is pretty simple here. There's really not one way, but multiple ways we have to go about solving the problems. Now, it turns out that these products that allow us to interact with clients function in one of about two or three ways. They can be standalone products. And, examples in that category include vendors like Liscio or SureLink or, in the older days, Citrix ShareFile might fall in that category. Second, it might be products that are integrated with document management systems. So examples here could be like Docket's portal or the portal that's integrated with CCH Document or with GoFileRoom, just to name three on that way. And then the other approach can be those that are integrated with practice management. So historically, that might have been something like NetClient CS and the Thompson family, or in the newer approaches, it could be something that's integrated into AV or into Carbon or into APS or Star Practice Management, those type of things. Further, there's technology portals that are available as well. Some firms are looking at and have used or are considered using things like Teams portals or SharePoint portals. Sometimes I just call those technology portals. And there's been other approaches through the years. In fact, maybe as many as 7 different approaches. One final example might be a workflow-based portal. The old product formerly known as XCM, now called CCH Access Workflow, had a portal that was built out in that product. And it was a good example of the way to get the job done. But one thing I don't think you want, Chris, is I don't think you want multiple ways of dealing with your clients. I think you want one way that kind of fits all of your different practice areas, including tax and audit and client accounting services and wealth management and so on.
Absolutely. And I can imagine the simpler things are for customers, the easier and the more engagement you're going to get with your customers. But what do these tools do for the firms and their customers?
Yeah, there's a number of things that happen. First, I like to say, let's go where the money's at, because getting an engagement letter delivered, signed, and returned is certainly one of those. Getting files for your engagements for tax and audit, the traditional prepared by client list or PBC files is certainly another one that's good, because one of the least efficient things you can do is begin working on projects without having all the files you need for the project. So PBC is kind of a big deal. On the other end, if you think about this as an end-to-end process where we go from beginning to end, the final delivery of the work products, a tax return, the financials in an audit engagement, and so forth. The delivery of those final work products is certainly another area. Clearly, along the way, then, you have to have e-signature products. And because of the IRS regulations on 8879, we have to choose an e-signature product that does knowledge-based authentication, or KBA, along the way. And then finally, one other thing that you may do is you may have a payment gateway included, so clients can pay you interactively off of your website or via links in your emails.
So it sounds like a lot of very difficult functions. So it sounds like, though, ease of use really translates into improvements for the client experience and also adoption for your team member experience, correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Chris. It reduces the time involved, which is great for the client and for the firm. It helps with automatic follow-up. Sometimes I label that auto nag. It knows that something has to be done. So, it pings the client for you and you're not really having to worry about that. And there's more. And realistically, I think expectations of clients are higher than they've ever been. And a great portal and the ability to have an interactive tool that might be able to do PBC work and other things for you, I think is a great competitive advantage to the firm itself. So realistically, we're trying to help you think about positioning your firm as a client advantage. So, when you ask to start this off, what's top of mindset? You can see why portals come in here and why it leads to client experience and team member experience. And frankly, it can also be a good recruiting tool for you, because people will look at your sites and your tools and say, this firm is being innovative.
Meanwhile, trying to, at the same time, keep it simple and easy to use for your customers so you have a higher adoption rate, I have to imagine.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, keeping it simple is part of the deal here. Many of the portals historically have been clumsy, hard to use, ugly. And, the new ones are elegant, much simpler to use. They're mobile enabled in many cases, so clients can work off of a smartphone or a tablet or off their computer, and actually are becoming more and more comfortable with that as time goes on.